Okay, all right. Good evening, everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Just checking. You can put in the chat box. You can confirm me on the chat box so that I know everything is working fine technically. All right. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Pranjal. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Abdul, Adina, Mayuresh, Pranjal, Pratik, Rahul, all of you. Thank you so much for joining in such a short notice. Thank you so much for being with us. Yeah. So we have with us Dr. Seher Abbas from Germany. Yeah. Dr. Seher, welcome to this session.
Hi, Manoj. Thank you so much. I
Thank you,
hope
Dr.
you can hear me.
Yes, Dr. Seher. So I'll just give a brief intro about you. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for agreeing to come here and speak and share your knowledge and experience with our students and pharmacy professionals and help them learn more about careers in Germany. And special thanks to you because you're not keeping well, and despite that you have agreed and you're coming and sharing the experience with us. So Dr. Seher, she is from basically from Pakistan. She has done her bachelor's and master's from Pakistan. Then she moved to Germany. She did her PhD in neurosciences, and then she has done a lot of work in neurosciences. And then what happened? She started her career in pharmaceuticals. Currently, she is a project lead in one of the pharmaceutical companies in Germany. And during the weekend, she loves helping people to get a job in Germany. She's been doing a lot of free webinars and helping them understand the different kind of opportunities in Germany. And I also happened to attend one of the webinars a long time back. And then I got to know about her. I did some research about her, and then I sent a message to her and said, okay, fine. We interacted a few times over email and then WhatsApp, and then finally she's here with us to share her journey in Germany. So Dr. Seher, please share some, story of yours as to how from Pakistan you got to Germany, and what is it that you felt most exciting about Germany as a pharmacy professional. And then we'll have some Q&A, and then we'll allow others also in the group to ask the questions. And that's how we learn today. We'll not have any slides for all the participants today. We are not having any slides today. She's not keeping well, and I have so much of gratitude for her that she has agreed even despite her illness, because she committed. That shows her passion for helping pharmacy professionals land a good job in Germany. So welcome, Dr. Seher. Thank you so much for being with us. Please share your journey and how you got into Germany.
Oh, thank you so much, Manoj. You give such a warm introduction, and I have no idea that you participated in one of my webinars. Wow, that's something new to get to know. Thank you so much for your kind and warm words. I appreciate that. And I also appreciate that you are doing this for students, that you are being a reason that I am here today. And then you are also providing education, knowledge, and support to students for their benefit. So highly appreciated. Yes, so I am in Germany for now already 6 years. Just like you mentioned, I came here for my PhD, completed my PhD in neuroscience, and then moved into industry. So I can begin how I moved from Pakistan to Germany. I think this is the part where many students will be interested to know how hard it is, how can we also make it, and the same kind of questions I receive from students, that if we reply, will the recruiter reply to us or not? So if you apply, recruiter will definitely reply, but you just not need to apply. You need to stand out in order to get the response of the recruiter. So I come from a very humble background in Pakistan, and I completed my most of education by scholarships. My family, my mother were not able to support my education financially, so I moved from one scholarship to the next scholarship. And I also got a scholarship for my PhD. It's called DAAD scholarship. I think it's very well known in our region, and Germany is very kind to offering these scholarships to students coming from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, to other countries also. So this has become something really big. But how did I get to that? When you start applying, you think that there is only one way. What we learn from our teachers or from our senior students, we make our application, we see that there is an open position, and then we send application, we fill the form, and then we wait for months, and then we get an email which says, oh, we picked somebody else. Thank you for your interest. I received a lot of emails like this, and many students receive such emails when they apply for positions. So it's not mandatory that you apply for PhD. You can apply for PhD, for a job, for any career, any subject that you are studying, you can apply. But what I did was a little bit different that I can share it with you today, so you can also change your strategy somehow. So my goal was to have a PhD. First thing is you need to identify what your goal is. I wanted to have a PhD. I wanted to have in biology, and I wanted to have it in Germany. So the more you narrow down things, the better success funnel is working for you at the end. So after identifying the process of PhD, you find out, okay, what I just explained before, that was too long for me and too boring for me. So what is it that we can do something else? Why don't you go, all the information is out there. You find the list of universities that you can find it by yourself. In fact, I created a list of universities in Germany, and I'm just putting it on my website for your audience. If you, any of you don't know how many universities are in Germany and what kind of programs they are offering, you can download that document for free and you can do your research. So this is exactly what I did. Find a list of universities, find a list of professors, find their email addresses, and then I just started writing them emails. It was a very professional and short email where I'm explaining myself, and then I'm telling why I am interested in your lab or in your group, just so that not, this is where many people make mistake. They don't come with a clear mindset. They write the email, but they are not clear to other person, why should we give you a chance? Why you are best for us? So if you go with this mindset from beginning, that you give them these reasons, it's easier for other person to understand you. Yeah, so after sending a lot of emails, I started getting rejection emails. That was my first goal. Nowadays, when you ask people, their first goal is, of course, to get acceptance, but I wanted to be rejected because I was sure I need more grooming or I need more training. And I wanted to use this time from application to rejection and then acceptance, that you learn, right? You get the feedback, you improve yourself, and then you learn. So I use this time to improve myself. I asked them politely, what should I improve? And that's how I kept going until I started receiving interview calls. And not one, two, three, I got 7 interviews, and then I got 5 PhD positions. And then I was at liberty that I could choose 1 from 5, not that I am just waiting, waiting, waiting. So the purpose of telling this story is when there is no opportunity for you, you can create an opportunity for yourself. The world works for those who wants to work for themselves. So don't take the back seat, stand up and make a seat for yourself. This is how world works. If you all are equally talented, you are not less than anyone in the world. Just look for your clarity and find a strategy and then work hard for that one. Yeah. This is how I moved to Germany. This is how I ended up here.
Highly inspirational, Dr. Seher. I'm sure a lot of students who are facing the same challenge, they might be excited to learn the journey from you, and then they'll definitely take some paths from here. Thank you so much for sharing your story. So, Dr. Seher, many students, they say they are freshers, they don't have experience, they don't know how to approach. Do you have any suggestions for them? The freshers who are still in the college, they're planning to do their masters in Germany. For them, you have any suggestions?
Yeah, I think this is my favorite target audience. I love working with freshers because I am still early in my career and I moved from in the academia to industry. Of course, you always start with no experience, you know. You cannot get an experience while you are in university. So yes, there are strategies, there are ways that you can work. First thing, don't wait until your education is finished. Don't wait until that day. If you're doing bachelors, if you're doing masters, anything, and you know that in next 9 to 10 months your education will be completed, this is the time for you to start thinking about your next step. This is the time, start asking yourself, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to have that job? Try to find the people who are working the kind of jobs that you want to work with and start making them friends. It does not matter which country they are from. It matters where you want to go. So for example, if you want to come to Germany, so I can give my example again, that when I was in my second year of PhD, I already started writing to the people, to the kind of people I wanted to work with. So this is called networking. So this networking thing is what people confuse a lot, especially when in our society, many of us think, you know, it's a bribery, it's a sifarish, something like that. But it's not. It's just pure professional relationship that you can leverage. So in those 8 or 9 months, build a network around yourself. This network will be there to support you whenever you need them. But it's not like you go there, you ask help, and then they will provide you help. Networking works like it's always in beginning for the other person, but then you always reward it. You always get the benefit out of it. So for freshers, first thing, that don't wait for the last minute. Second thing, start learning networking, start finding the people you want to work with and start making friends with them, start asking the questions. Hey, how did you move here? How do you like this company? What are the most challenging aspects of your job? And do you like your job? If yes, then what are the best part of this job? Just to have an idea, if you want to get yourself into this job, that you are aware of those challenges and everything. Okay, now you have developed a network, you have finishing your education, now you start looking for positions. So in between, you need to prepare, of course, your applications as well, because this is your first impression, this is your ambassador, they are going to speak on your behalf. You can ask your network, hey, there is a position open in your company. Can I have your recommendation? Because we know each other for some time. You can show your work to them. This is the leveraging part where you get. When you get a recommendation, you don't, when you go to the airport, the rich people they don't have a queue. They just go through the side. This is exactly the same. It's not a negative or bad thing, but it's like this is your network working for you. When you get a recommendation, you immediately are called for the interview. And when you are sitting in an interview, don't make the mistake that your network will support you. The job of your network was only to bring you to this point, and now again, you are going to fight for that job. You're going to get the job if you deserve that job. All right, so these are the things that freshers can do already, and this is the way that they can have interview calls directly. But when they say we don't have an experience, this is the point I want to speak a little bit, that all the assignments that you made, all the work groups that you did together with other people in your class, in your theory, in your practical exam, they all are your experiences. If you made any internship, that's also your experience. So now it's the art of selling yourself, that how will you put this experience on your CV? Many people just say that, okay, master's from XYZ University, and this was the name of my advisor, and this is my grade, that's it. This is like you are leaving money on the table. What you need to do, you need to think of all those things that you did, and then you need to think how your assignments or your project or your internship made a little impact. Everything that you do leaves an impact. So you need to measure that impact, and there is a famous formula from Google. It's called XYZ formula. You can use that formula to explain those or mention those experiences in your CV. For example, I can give you an example just for students to understand that if I am changing my job and what my new manager is interested in, that person might be interested in that I would be able to cut the budget, to cut the cost, you know, to make them more profit. I think it's a desire of every employer. So if this is part of my job, how will I convince them just with my CV? So I will say that I designed, conducted, or completed this X project where I replaced something in my products or in my medicines, whatever I am making, and this led us to save or generate X amount of money. So this is just an example for somebody who has a little bit of experience. For example, if you are a student, you made an assignment. What you can say is like that you work together with the student from XYZ department, and you presented your work in XYZ place for any awareness for anything. This is just a way of telling what you have achieved or what you have experienced already. So count yourself on all those things, experiences. And when you are in the application process, this is the last part of my answer. When you are waiting from them after sending application, don't waste the time. Use the time to enroll yourself for courses or to offer your network your free services. For example, you are networking already somebody and you say, hey, how can I help you? Give them some free help to have that experience and put that on your CV then.
Excellent points, Dr. Seher. I think, what I learned from your session just now is networking is one of the most important thing a fresher should start even before he or she is completing the degree. Right now, I see a lot of, specifically Indian students, they don't do this. So only when they're completing the degrees, they remember their seniors and they start reaching out to them. And this is when there is a major disconnect happening, right? So I don't know who that guy is and why should I refer him? That is the thought I'll have in mind. Networking is first thing that all of us should have, and every single fresher, whether he is studying in whatever degrees, they should start networking right from that degree. That's very important. The second point that you told about is XYZ, right? So every student should focus on the internships and the projects they're doing during the college time, and create that as an experience and present that as XYZ, right? So that really helps the recruiters to understand what the student has done during that time, and that really gives a platform for the recruiter or the seniors to whom they're approaching to really refer them or hire them in the company. So excellent points, Dr. Sayed, and I'm sure these freshers will definitely get benefited from this. Perfect. So maybe next question would be, let's say they're doing the networking, they are planning this, they have also done the XYZ for their works, whatever they have done, the projects and internships. Now, one of the major questions the students might have, especially the freshest one, we are from developing countries, so that is always the case, right? So we always think about the tuition fees. What will be the kind of tuition fees we might have in Germany, uh, especially when I'm going, for masters or for PhD. Will it be sponsored? Would I get a scholarship? So that will be one part of the question. The second part is, let's say I'm going after my graduation for a job in Germany, and then I do a master's simultaneously. Can I fund my, master's along with the jobs? Is it possible? So these can be another 2 or 3 questions that freshers might have in their minds.
All right. Thank you so much. Yes, I totally agree with you. Networking is your net worth. It's very important, and everyone who is listening, start doing that. Okay. So regarding the scholarships, who is going to fund us? Who is going to support us? Of course, it's not a so little money. We are not talking about rupees. We are talking about now euros, and this conversion, it's not the same. And we are at the not the benefiting side in life.
Yeah.
So yes, so what you can do if you are coming here, let's first talk about PhDs. Has been a huge confusion about that. If you want to do a PhD, please pick Germany. You can pick any country in the world, but I'm going to give you the following reasons why you should pick Germany. It's not that I did it from, I think I got lucky when I made those decisions. I had 5 from all over the world, but I picked Germany. And I did not know all these things at the time. First, PhD is always funded in Germany.
Okay.
A PhD can never have a PhD, but without funding. This is the most beautiful thing of having a PhD in Germany, that you have never to worry about the money. There are 2 kinds of PhDs that you can get in Germany. One that we famously known, scholarships. You know, when we are poor, we come from developing countries and we hear the word scholarships and we just run after that. That's exactly what I did. If I would have known that there is a second option exists, I would have gone for the second one. You will understand in a moment why. So first is a PhD with a scholarship. There are plenty of scholarships. There is even a list of scholarships on my website as a document that you can download the document for masters, bachelors, and PhD. But main one I can tell you right now, for example, the DAAD, it offers like 52 scholarships it offers to Pakistanis, and the same like 62 or something it offers to Indians. It has like 179 scholarships. So when you are thinking DAD is only one scholarships, that's a limited information. There are so many subcategories dedicating to different fields, different level of education. So you need to really go and look into the database. Okay, you can go for DAAD, you can go for Marie Curie, and there are also some other internal scholarships here. You can also go for Erasmus. They are like the big ones, the major ones that you can get it. The second part, the second kind of PhD, the second PhD is not a scholarship, it's a job. It's like when a professor writes an application for grant and they get the grant funding, and that money comes to university, and from that money they announce a PhD position and they hire the people, and that person makes a contract with the university. That person does not get a scholarship, but the person gets a salary. That person is not a scholarship holder, that person is an employee. So there are these are 2 different things. But one thing that could vary in that you might get 65% of contract or 100% of contract. Just a little bit of understanding for your audience. When you get a scholarship, for example, DAD, it's 1,200 euros. You don't pay any taxes. That's what you get every month. If you have a Marie Curie, you get 2,400 or 500. No taxes paid. That's all you get. But when you are an employee, you get, after paying taxes, you get somewhat between 1,800 to 1,900 if you have a 65% contract. If you have a 100% contract, then you get 2,400 to 2,500 after paying the taxes. So then comes the taxes that you are paying. It's not for nothing. You get a health insurance out of it, right? You get so many benefits, so many different kind of insurances. Okay, now you said that this was the part of the PhD, the tuition fee. So what tuition fee that you need to pay when you enroll yourself as a bachelor, master, or PhD? It is known in Germany that education is free, but there is a basic fee. There is a basic fee. It's called not tuition fee. It's just your fee that you are paying to university, and then you are getting a lot of benefits out of it. So it is around close to 400 euros that you pay every semester, every 6 months. So what you get out of that, out of those 400 euros that you pay, you get a city ticket card, which means you can travel the public transportation. You get cheap food from the cafeteria of the university. You get to live in cheap flats, which are run by university. Otherwise, the housing market is expensive. Even if you are a PhD student, you will pay that tuition fee. So when you are getting 1800 or 24, I think it's pretty easy for you to save up this much money. It's not a problem. Now coming back to bachelor's and master's students, there are not always scholarships for them, but there are a bunch of scholarships for them. First, let's talk about the scholarships and how much they have to pay. When they get scholarship, there are a variety of scholarship. For example, you can also get DAAD scholarship, you can also get Erasmus scholarship, and the other list of scholarship you can find on my website. And for example, from DAAD, you get like 800 between 1,000 euros. And then you pay the same fee just like a PhD student pay. You get less money, but you pay the same fee and you get the same benefit out of it. And now, if you don't have a scholarship, of course, then you need to self-fund yourself. And the critical part is you need to show a money, for example, 1,000, I can't remember exactly, but roughly 1,092 euros for 1 month. In order to get a visa for 1 year, you can multiply this to 12. And then you need to show this money in your bank. You need to block that account so that you can have a visa issued on the basis of that. Okay, if you think one time your parents or somebody from your family, you can borrow that money, please do it, because you need that money for the visa. When you come here, you don't have to use that money. There are so many student jobs here where you can earn easy money and students don't even have to pay the taxes. So you can basically get all the benefits by paying that 400 euros. After 6 months, you can live in cheap flats, and then you can earn part-time with the student jobs, and then you don't pay any taxes. And you will not have so much to save up, but you will have enough to pay your fee, to pay for your food, and to pay for your living. So if I put all in all, I think even if you think of how much tuition fee parents are paying for masters and bachelors in India, I think it's roughly the same amount if you convert the 400 euros per semester. It's the same amount. It's maybe a little bit less, but it's not a big difference. So when you can have this education from here with the same money, and if you want to, then you should do that.
Absolutely.
And there are several other scholarships when you are here, even if you didn't get a scholarship before. For example, you can apply for special help or need-based scholarships, and several scholarships. For example, if somebody have children, they are only offered to the parents, and they are offered from one semester, like semester-wise. So the support is always existing, but you need to look up what exists out there and if I can get it. So there are so many ways that you can make things work out.
Perfect. That was a nice one. So I think in India for students, it is easy because they get a bank loan, and the bank loan it comes at a very good interest rate. So they should not be worrying so much. And as you rightly said, if they can take the bank loan and shift there and then do some part-time job along with their studies, they can also self-fund the entire study, right? So, and they can also repay the loan. So that was a good one, Dr. Said. And both for masters and PhD have given a clear path. I think that will be a good one. I'll be sharing Dr. Seher's website link and also the LinkedIn profile link later on to all the participants. So you can go to her website and download a lot of materials from there and also see what she is doing and also register for her upcoming webinars. So that is when we learn, right? So thank you so much, Dr. Seher, for that. So scholarship we discussed about the tuition fees. Okay, so one question that normally comes from our students, of course, from India is, let's say I have done my master's and let's say I'm going to Germany for a job. What is the kind of package I can expect if I join as a fresher? Are there opportunities available if I get some opportunities there?
Yes, that's a very good question, because many students I see that they struggle with this idea, because we are paid in rupees and then there is no comparison, and when recruiter asks how much you are paid right now, and then we try to devalue ourselves. Oh my God, I'm already paid so little, so I should not ask so much. This is not the case. You should forget about it, what you were paid before. Now you are in a different country. You need to survive, you need to pay your bills in this country, right? And rupee will not work here, euro will work. So you need to think of in that term, and you need to ask from that cost of life. So as a fresher, if somebody would come after bachelor's or after master's and with no experience, just like we said, fresher. So when I have actually a picture, I can send it to you, so you can send it to your listeners, that Germany is like the east side and the west side. They are united in 90s, before they were separated, right? There has been a lot of progress in the west part, but there has been less progress on the north part. So when you think of applying, you need to think of where you are applying.
Absolutely.
For example, if you have, I don't know, biology degree, for example, pharmacy, biotechnology, biochemistry, microbiology, genetics, any degree that's related to biology, that you can get into companies which are directly pharmaceutical company or testing companies or software making companies, bioinformatics, for example. So you need to go into the south part, for example, in Munich, for example, in Stuttgart, for example, in Frankfurt. So there you will find so many companies related to your field, and there you will be paid way more. But then if you choose to live in bigger city, the cost of life will also be more.
Absolutely.
So it's always equalized. And now if you come up in the north, the progress in terms of industrialization or the progress of country in general, it's one step behind than the south. There are less international companies, but it's getting there. So you are paid a little bit less. If we talk in terms of numbers, how much you will pay as a fresher, of course, you also need to negotiate and everything. But as a fresher, when you come here as an entry-level position, as an associate level position, these are like the entry-level position for the freshers. It also varies from your subject to subject. If you are an IT person, and I have seen people with no experience that they got hired with 60K base salary.
Wow.
And this was the case in Berlin. Now, if you go up in the north, the fresher, the IT degree with no experience got hired with 48. So you already see the difference. The same for biology degree. When you are a fresher, you have a biology degree, your package would be between 45 to 55. However you negotiate, you are able to negotiate it, And when it comes to a salary, it's not just the base salary in Germany. So the best thing, you negotiate your base salary, because your next promotion yearly increment will be counted on the basis of base salary. So what comes on top? One 13th salary. So some companies offer that and some don't. For example, in universities, if you are a PhD, like I said, you are made a contract, you're a PhD position holder, you get a bonus. You get a Christmas bonus, which is like 500 euros to 1,000 euro. But for example, in my previous company, we were getting 13 salaries. Like in December, we will get 2 salaries. So, and then on top of that, from the progress of your previous year, you get a bonus in March, end of March, because how much company made, if they made good revenue, then all the employees, they get one bonus in March. So now you need to remember when you're negotiating all these things, your base salary, your Christmas bonus, your annual bonus, and then comes your vacation days, 30 days paid vacation leave. This is, you also need to negotiate.
30 days.
Um,
30.
30 days,
Okay.
30, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the things. And on top of that, government also supports. For example, last year when the prices are getting up and up, so government announced that all the colleagues, all the employees will get 200 euros extra for 3 months. And in the end, government says, okay, everyone will get 500 euros in November, just because the prices are high. So all these things exist, but these two things you don't need to negotiate because this comes, they are not
Default.
certain.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the other things that you should negotiate, and another thing, moving cost. You can also negotiate when you are moving. Of course, you can say that you are moving from one country to another country, but this also usually happens within from one city to another city. When I am moving from one city to another city for a new job, I will negotiate the moving cost. It's usually like 10% or between 5 to 10% of your base salary. So the best thing that be informed, learn about all these things, and go into the interview prepared. Not that you're blind and whatever you get and you think, okay, I should accept that. You can negotiate it.
Absolutely. So the basic work or the research work has to be done for us by us before we shift to the country, right? And I
Yeah.
think this pretty much works in countries like Pakistan and India also. We have cities, tier 3 cities, tier 2 cities, and tier 1 cities, and obviously the cost of living, the salaries, and everything varies accordingly, right? And we
Yeah.
get similar benefits in those cities. Perfect, Dr. Seher. Thank you so much. Can we take another 2-3 questions? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, there are PharmD professionals in India. PharmD is a 6 years course in India, and 5 years of studies and 1 year of internship they do. And they are allowed to prefix doctor with their name, and they are considered equivalent to doctors. They have a lot of options. They cannot, of course, diagnose and prescribe medicines, but then they can do a lot of clinical services. So a lot of PharmDs ask me, what kind of opportunities exist in Germany for PharmDs, if there are any. Do you have any suggestions for them?
Yeah, I think this is something, it comes from Pakistan. They also have PharmD. And then they usually are thought that they will go into pharmaceutical industry or they will go into clinical research or something like that.
Yeah.
So they also have it here. You can also study pharmacy.
Okay.
It's not called PharmD. I don't know why, but you can also study pharmacy here. So when you study that, there are different career paths and what can go. So one is definitely you can apply for your license, and then it takes some time. Of course, when your license is approved, then you can work as a pharmacist. In Germany, nobody can just open a pharmacy on its own.
Mhm.
You have to go through the approved process. So this is one career path. And then, of course, pharmaceutical companies. Germany has become, in the past 2 years, the biggest hub in Europe. Like they have the most, they created the most revenue in the last 2 years regarding pharmaceutical companies. So there are a lot of pharmaceutical companies, a lot of service provider companies, a lot of CMOs, like contract manufacturing organization, a lot of CMC, like chemistry, manufacturing, stuff like that. So the horizon is big for anybody coming from with pharmacy, that they can apply to any of these companies. But of course, they should look for pharmaceutical companies because they get rather paid more than other service providers. For example, if you are working for a company who are providing services for testing and whatnot, they are called the service providers, and there your package will be less than in a pharmaceutical company. So
Absolutely.
there are many pharmaceutical companies. I actually have a list of 300 biotech companies. It's not on my website, but it will be on my website in a couple of days. So you can also download that for free. Okay, this is another path. And then, of course, one can go into research. One can go into R&D, into the pharmaceutical company, or one can go into the research institute. Germany has a lot of really good research institutes, and this is where they are looking for these people, because this is where they are testing the idea and converting into the product. And this is where a pharmacist and, for example, a neuroscientist or a biochemist, they are coming together and they're doing the research together. So these are the career path. One can also become a teacher if one wants to in Germany. But for that, you need to learn really good German.
And is German necessary? And connecting to the same question, so is German necessary for all of this?
If you are coming for PhD, it's not necessary. No one is asking you. But it's better if you show your interest. You're coming to another country, just show your interest in the culture or in the language. And language is the way to go into the culture.
Absolutely.
For masters and bachelors, no one is asking you. But same, like when you are here and you are paying that 400 euros, you can learn any language which is offered in your university. You can go and attend any class which is offered in your university. So I could learn here Chinese, Japanese, Arabic during my PhD time, but I didn't have enough time, so I only focused on German. So just show the interest, and it's also going to help you. And now for the job seekers. So where you are applying, if you are applying or going in a smaller place, the requirement for German would be higher. If you are going in a bigger city, I don't know, Berlin, Hamburg, Cologne, Munich, Frankfurt, Stuttgart, these cities, big cities, they have more international company and the requirement of German would be less. Of course, they will ask you this question, and the answer should not be no. The answer should be, I am learning few words and I'm interested and I'm curious, just to show that positive interest. But if you are applying for like a senior role and you are in a local company, then yes. But go for international companies, because if they have an office in Berlin, they might also have an office in Vienna or in Barcelona, right? Or in Paris, and then try to reach into the global teams. The global teams must communicate via English, because they all have different kind of languages. So there are several ways that you can navigate your path if you want to.
Perfect. I think that's a great point you said, Dr. Seher. I'm sure this also, holds good for countries like India and Pakistan, where we have different provinces and different languages. When we move from one province to another province, we should and must learn the language of the, place where we are in, and be Roman where you are in Rome, right? So we have to the culture, learn the language, and we should gel with the population there. So definitely that was a great point. Thank you so much. And now another connected question, specifically for ladies in pharmaceuticals. So in India, what happens, and I'm sure this happens in other countries also as well. So ladies, they do the degrees and they get married, and after getting married, they'll have children, and they are not, they might have done a couple of years job before they get married, and soon after the marriage, there is a disconnect happening, right? So they have a career gap in between. So what do you suggest for such ladies? Will they have such kind of opportunities in Germany, and they can apply?
Um, I can answer this in two ways. First, if you are already here and you studied, or for example, you were doing PhD or you were doing a job and then you had to go for a baby. So you were paying taxes already via PhD or via your job. And make sure that that when you are having a baby, you are still in a job, because when you are leaving, they are letting you go for having a baby, then they will still pay you the 60% of your last salary for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
First year, you get full 60%, and in the second year, it gets a little bit less, but this is the money that you paid before via taxes. So this is a kind of opportunity Germany offers. It's like a support system if somebody wants to have a child. You can just stay 2 years or 1 year at home if you want, however you feel like, but you have like a constant income coming for you. And after that, you can return to your same job. You don't even need to apply anywhere else. You can go
Excellent.
full time. You can also go half time, as much as is your capacity is. And now the second part, if somebody is sitting in India or in Pakistan and they have the baby, they have now the gap. So for them, it's going to be challenging, but it's not impossible. So now they need to apply here. It's the same process for them, just like we explained for other biology, for other IT people. What they can do if they already have an experience, they can go for a specialist level. If they never worked before, they must go for an entry level position. When you have that gaps are not bad, but now you are crossing one thing gap, second thing country, two things,
Yeah.
right? So then coming to an entry level position will make things easier for you, because the job will not be so tough. You were not in touch with your job for a long time. It will be easier for you to reconnect, also to start in a new country. So the process is the same. Um, just apply for specialist if you have an experience. If you don't, then associate or entry level positions.
Excellent point. And depending on the experience, they can try as a fresher or as an experienced both, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
excellent. That is something good. Okay. In India and other countries, I think when they leave for a job and for babies, they normally are considered as a fresher, and they are asked to join for the same salary they left the job for, right? So that is something which is good, in Germany and other countries. Definitely nice. Okay. All right. So now we'll have another question on regulatory affairs. I think regulatory affairs is something which is preferred in many countries, and Germany is no exception to that. How is the regulatory affairs positions in Germany, and what kind of opportunities the people from regulatory affairs will have there?
I think it's no different than other jobs. Um, Especially in pharmaceutical company, every pharmaceutical company needs a regulatory affair department, and they are like the most important department, quality and regulatory affairs.
Yeah.
They are the most important people there. So there, it's nothing is different for them as well. It's like if you have a degree in biology or any other subject and you want to go to regulatory affairs, the same challenges for you, um, in comparison to somebody we said wants to go to into R&D, or want to go to into production, or want to go to into warehouse or in supply chain, something like that. So do not think that there are less opportunities for you, because there are not less opportunities for you. It's the same kind of challenge that you need to go through, from language wise, from application wise. Everything is the same. The bottom line for all of them, for all of the people, pharmacy, D pharmacy, student, PhD, masters, jobs, do you really want that? If you want that, then you should figure it out How can you do that? Instead of worrying that many students ask me this, if I apply, will they even reply me? I would say change this question. How can I make them answer me? You know, it's your responsibility because this is your life, you know, this is your career. Things are possible. If somebody like me sitting here, you can also come here, but you just need to be focus on what skills it requires, consistency, right? Reaching out to people, networking, and keep your eyes and ears open, improving yourself. You know, this, let your ego go away that I'm the perfect. There is always a room for opportunity. So nothing is different for regulatory people. They are equally paid like other people. They are not less paid, and they have to go through the same challenges.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Seher, for that. And I think, I had a lot of questions in mind. I still have a lot of questions, but, we have some participants, so we'll, give some chance to them as well. Let the participants ask few questions and we can wrap up after that. So participants, if you have any questions, please do raise your virtual hand. I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions in the mind, but please focus on the questions relevant to career opportunities in Germany and career opportunities for pharmacy in Germany, right? So let's not, ask any other questions. If you have any other questions, you can write to me later on and I'll get the answers from Dr. Seher. Okay, so if anyone wants to ask question, please raise your virtual hand and I'll unmute you. You can ask the question directly to Dr. Seher. So anyone wants to ask any questions? You have to ask questions if you want to get answers. I'm sure Dr. Seher might be facing the same thing. Participants don't want to ask questions.
Yeah, I remember that when I was a student, I was a bachelor student in Pakistan. We always had the same students feel shy, but this is the first step that start learning how to ask question. But then the second step, don't stick to the first one, move to the second step, which is learn to ask smart questions.
Absolutely. So I think we have a smart lady, Monica. You can ask the question to Dr. Seher. If you want to switch on the video, you are most welcome. Otherwise, you're good to ask question directly. Yes, Monica.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Monica.
Actually, I have completed my MPharm in 2019, and I was looking for from the Department of Pharmacognosy, that is plant basis, and I tried for PhD also. I was very much interested, but I heard that there is a language test that we have to clear the papers of language, like especially for Germany. Is that applicable for job also, or only for PhD?
For PhD, you do not need any language. You need to, yes, you need to, it depends on which university you are applying. Some universities are asking for IELTS, the English language test, not the German language test, because they just want to see if you are able to communicate it or not. But not all universities are asking this. Second thing is, if you get a scholarship, for example, DAAD, they will ask you for the IELTS, the same English language test. For example, when I came here, the DAAD asked me for the IELTS, but the university I was in, they did not ask me. So you need to look for which funding you are getting, which university you are getting. And for the job, when you are applying for a job and you are getting work visa, they will not ask you for the language, but you need to, they will ask this question definitely to you in the interview. If they require somebody who needs to speak in the production house, for example, with other people in German, then they will ask you if you can talk in German. Then don't apply for that position. Apply for a position where you need to work, just like I mentioned, in a global positions, or in a entry level positions where you can be okay with speaking English and a little bit of German that you can learn afterwards.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. So Monica, you got the answer. Now you have a clear path to follow. Dr. Seher has already shared a lot of ideas for, freshers and experience. You could just try a PhD with funding, and I think that helps you. Thank you so much for asking that question, and Dr. Seher, thank you so much for answering that. So let's go on to the next one. Shriya Bala, you can ask your question.
Hi, thank you so much for this. So first of all, I don't have a pharma background. I'm a dentist. So I just quickly want to ask that when I was in India, I actually wanted to shift to a non-clinical career, but then I moved here. I'm already living in Germany. I have a work permit. But then, I'm just exploring alternative career opportunities, and it's quite challenging. I'm currently focusing on learning the language. So could I get some guidance on how someone with my kind of background could look? Is it possible to look at like pharma or research as alternative careers here? And if so, just how can I bridge that gap? Because obviously, I'm not as knowledgeable as someone with a pharma background in this subject. So could I just get some
All
guidance?
right. All right. So you're already in Germany. That's amazing. Think of this as a positive, as a like something that you're already standing on, you
One
know.
step ahead.
Don't
Yes,
don't think that this is nothing. Whenever you start to apply, start thinking of your achievements. This
sure.
gives confidence comes from our previous achievement. So this is your achievement. Think of it as an achievement, and this is where you start. Good, very good. Okay. Now you are a dentist. You want to get out of the clinical work environment. What opportunities are there for you? Okay, you studied theoretical biology. I think it's not a big difference for somebody who is studying biochemistry or studying a dentistry. You also study all basic biology. Everything is somehow overlapping. It's
Yeah.
just in your mind that you don't have that experience, but you have the knowledge. Okay, if I were you, I would look for pharmaceutical companies which are producing products related to your tooth. you
Dentistry.
know there are so many companies which are producing medicines, which are producing implants. So focus yourself into that one. So remove yourself from all other microbiology, genetics, all other biology, because this is where your gap will be big. But in this, your gap is smaller, and you can convince them that I come from this education. I worked in clinics, so I know also that what patients need, what their desires are, and this is where I'm here to help you. And there you can get the job.
Perfect.
Dr.
Yeah.
Shreya, thank you, Dr. Shreya, for putting that answer. And Dr. Shreya, for you, I have another point to add. Since you are already a dentist, and Dr. Seher mentioned rightly that there are a lot of companies who are into manufacturing of dental products and dental related implants and other aspect, you could try as to work in a pharmaceutical company as a medical writer, supporting the medical advisors team and the medical
Yes.
marketing teams, helping them market their products. So you have the dental expertise, they have the dental products ready. They need
Okay.
somebody with dental expertise to help them market their products with the kind of knowledge you have. So basically, you'll be writing content for them. Yeah.
Mhm.
And anyways, to all the participants, I'll be sharing Dr. Seher's LinkedIn profile link. So please do reconnect with her. And I'll also send you her, she has created a WhatsApp group. So I'll send a ladies WhatsApp group. So you please be part of that. And, she'll keep adding a lot of values to you, and then you can interact together. Okay, both of you can interact separately. Okay, so thank you so much for that. And thank you, Dr. Seher, for
Thank
creating
you.
a wonderful platform. Yeah, of course, these platforms, many people misuse, I know, but then we'll try doing our best and we'll keep doing our bit, okay, whatever ways we can. So thank you so much. Perfect. So any other questions, guys, please ask, and then we are good to close if you don't have any more questions. We have already completed 1 hour, and Dr. Seher has been kind enough to be with us, even though she was not keeping well. Okay, so no questions. Type NQ in the chat box. NQ is no questions. That tells me that, okay, we are good to go. And then we'll definitely meet one more time for another session. I have a lot of questions. If you have any specific question for Dr. Seher, please do put an email to me, or you can also share me on LinkedIn, and I'll compile everything and I'll shoot an email to Dr. Seher, and then we'll have another session definitely for more details. Yeah. So perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Seher, and thank you all the participants from joining from different parts. Thank you so much. And I hope this session was useful. I definitely learned a lot of things from this session. I'll also share the recording of the session to all the participants, Dr. Seher's website and the LinkedIn profile link. So that will help us to stay connected. And as Dr. Seher rightly told, network is your net worth, right? So let's start building that network and reach out to people when we actually need them, right? So not reach out to people when we just need them, but stay connected with them even before that need comes in place, right? So that will help us stay connected and help us also keep adding value to the profession. And these sessions will continue. Dr. Seher is doing her bit. I'm also trying to do my bit, and let's together join hands, and we all can do our bits to, help pass this knowledge to somebody. If you learned something from this session, please pass on the information that you received from this session to others, so that we can collectively create some ripple effect, right? So that is what is needed today. And alone we cannot do much, but together I'm sure we can do much, and let's help each other to grow in the careers that we are in. So thank you so much, everyone. Dr. Seher, I'll request you to have another session later on. I'll also compile a lot of questions for you, and we'll have some presentation also, maybe sometime whenever you are comfortable, not just maybe next month, maybe after that. That's okay, perfectly fine. And we'll help people to get jobs in Germany for sure. Thank you. Any
Thank
final
you so much,
words?
Manoj. Thank you so much, all the participants, for your time. And I will see you next time. Have a really nice evening.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Seher. And all the details, LinkedIn profile and all of details will be sent out to them, and they'll reach out to you in case they want some help. So thank you so much, and we'll meet again very, very soon. Thank you so much, and
Yes. Thank
looking
you.
forward to
Take
learn
care.
from you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Seher. Thank you so much.